Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Scottsdale Park here on the beautiful Bayside suburbs of Brisbane. Mark Kennedy's my name, and we're here for the big Round 8 clash between the home side, the Redland Bombers, as we see Hayden Batty-Simmons win the toss and kick to the right of screen against the Southport Sharks. It's second, that is Southport, or third, I should say, against ninth. Joining me this afternoon in the commentary position is the encyclopedia of everything NEAFL and Queensland football, Bob Batty. Welcome to the coverage, Bob.
Yeah, thank you, Kanga. Yeah, it's great to be here. Certainly it's a Doug Nichols round at AFL level, and it was just interesting to note there that the toss was taken by Tim McCoy-Bowie and Matt Doran for the Southport Sharks. So a good little opportunity for them to show their leadership amongst the group, which is really good.
Now, we've had a few late changes in the Southport side, Bob, from that named on Thursday night. We've seen a couple come out, and coming in, there's a couple of interesting players there, not least of which I think is Tommy
Fields.
Tommy Fields coming back in, and he's been very good down back for them this year.
Certainly has, yeah. Beautiful left foot. He's like a surgeon on that left foot, just like his old man Neville with his games at Essendon and South Melbourne. He was a beautiful kick, and it's flowed into the genes there of Tom. And also for his first game for the year was Premiership backman Ethan Reeves, who didn't miss a game last year. So late start for him this year, but they'll be looking for him to play his role down back.
And of course, Southport, they've been in pretty hot form so far this year, but they did meet their first loss of the season last week against the Giants, while the Redland Bombers are a little bit inaccurate, ineffective of sorts on the scoreboard as they went down to Sydney University. So they'll be looking to get a win away on their home deck. What's your thoughts here, Bob? Who's going to win and why?
Yeah, look, I think Redland will come out playing very, very hard, and I see flatmates there playing on each other, Hayden Batty-Simmons and Michael Manteet. But yeah, I think they'll come out hard, but I think Southport will get away from them in the second half.
Yeah, I'm going to head Southport's way as well. I think they've just got a little bit too much class across the ground. Looking forward to this one. It'll be Turner versus Malone to kick us off. It's round 8 of the NEAFL. Underway, Sunday afternoon football. No real clear winner of the tap. Malone gets it down. Off on that time to Stephen. Gets it inside forward 50. Murdoch for Southport. Just couldn't quite get an effective handball away. Manteet, he tries to mop up. Tapes in there. Ruse. Been in very good form so far this year. Just going backwards. That's a lovely smother there by Bailey, but just couldn't turn the ball over. Fife has a little chipping ball and finds Trent Stubbs. Interesting story about him, Bob.
Yeah, look, he Collingwood rookie list some years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, and he'll be a good player for Southport, a good pickup.
And he just kicks the ball long. Malone's there. He couldn't take the mark. Boston, handball, only found Batty-Simmons though. Here's the 100-gamer. And Adrian Williams gets the ball, and that's a lovely mark taken back there by Reece Clark in defence. Well, chipping ball, finds a teammate. Play on's a call, though. It was Williams put under a bit of pressure. Will come away. And the ball finds, eventually, Jordan Taylor, the boy from South Adelaide. Just working the ball forward. Tape. Gives it off Manteet. Back to Tape. They've thought their way through that well. Stubbs, little chipping ball, was touched on the way through. Hall does well. Gets it across to Ford. He's caught Ford. They need to put the accelerator down instead of the brake. And Malone applies the good tackle. Good work there by the big fella.
Yeah, look, and that's what he does, Tiny, doesn't he? Talk about Brodie Grundy dominating at AFL level. Well, this fella dominates at NEAFL level.
Well, Clay Cameron stayed down. He might come away with this, no. As Tape finds the ball yet again, Manteet. He'll feed the ball backwards. Williams, a little short one. Puts Ruse under pressure, but he's up to it. Gives it back to Williams. Just a long kick, more in hope than everything else. They're going to come away, Redland. Batty-Simmons tackled as he went to kick it, but goes again. Now to Malone, to Stephen. Batty-Simmons, good second and third efforts there. Smothered ball by Williams, but Batty-Simmons again. Cormick, he's dispossessed. Batty-Simmons, Yagmore, we know he possesses a big foot. But offline. 1 point. It was a good build-up. The work rate of Batty-Simmons was excellent, Bob.
Yeah, certainly is. He's a sort of the radar for the team, isn't he? If he's on fire and really having a crack, their midfield's up and about.
So Williams comes away. Former North Melbourne listed player, gets it to the wing. Off to Mutu. Just turns. He's got a man over the top. And that's Stubbs. So well done by Stubbs to find some play. Just got out the back, goal side. And it was Stallard there that couldn't quite close down on him quick enough. So Stubbs can potentially have a shot for goal.
Yeah, he is a goal kicker. Three-time B&F winner at East Coast Eagles up there in the Sydney League. And been a great player in that competition. And he's within striking distance here.
So the breeze is actually pushing to the right of your screen today. So a little bit of an unusual wind, but the kick is an absolute ripper. And it's Trent Stubbs that gets the first one on the board. It goes Southport's way. They lead one straight. 6 points to one behind Redland. So 5 points of difference. We played about 4 minutes of this first quarter.
Yeah, Southport backline holding up. Redland's gone in a few times there, and each time the back six have held firm. You mentioned Reece Clark. You've got Tom Fields. You've got a number of experienced players there. Seb Tape. And also Brodie Murdoch. So, look, they've got a lot of experience back there. They're really solid. They've lost Davis with injury, but they've got good replacements to come back through.
Missing a few players. Matt Shaw's another one that's out at the moment, playing off that wing and half-back type role. A big accumulator. Davis is a bit of a general. Malone gets it down. Roos sharks it, but he's wrapped up straight away. Pardon the pun there. He sharks it. So we'll go again inside the centre circle here at Scottsdale Park. Turner. Roos again. Nothing effective there. Good pick up and turn. Gets it to Salter. That was Stephen who got it to him. Inside forward 50. The pack flies. Fields just gets it out of there in a real hurry as best he can, but Redland will come away again. It's Billy Johnson. The ball off. A little indiscriminate kick inside forward 50. And it's just wrapped up there. Sol Cormac was there, the tackler. As underneath it there also was Josh Williams. Turner gets it down. Doran, Roos. Just skirts along the boundary line out of play.
Just have to hit some targets up there, Redland, when they get the ball forward. You said an indiscriminate kick there earlier going into their forward 50. They've just got to be so precise with their kicking against a backline such as Southport.
They do tend to mop it up very efficiently out of the back half. Do the Sharks. One of the hallmarks of their premiership campaign last year. Doran just gets a little one forward. Stephen just right on the boundary line. Hayden Keel applies the tackle. Just takes him over the boundary line. So no harm, no foul. A little bit of push me, shove you. Nothing doing though.
Great to see Keel back playing, isn't it? Great comeback from an ACL where he lost 2 years of his footy career.
It is one of the great stories. 600 odd days in between senior games. And there's that man, Keel. Just gets around one, feeds the ball inside to Roos. He was under pressure. Keel goes again. And winning the football for a hold after the tackle will be Tyler Roos. Sam Cunnington, the man responsible for giving the free kick away. So right on the outer wing, Tyler Roos just lobs the ball up. Bowie, Timikai Bowie, he's a live wire. Just gets it at ground level, feeds it off. Just can't quite get anything effective away. Coming the other way there was Redland, but the ball's rebounded yet again. Coming to meet us, Williams. Couldn't take it though. Ball at ground level. Mills tries to clear. Now getting the ball with a bit more meaning forward is Billy Johnson. At least repels it from his defensive 50. Southport, though, they've got numbers behind the ball. Roos again. Little chipping ball. Finds Keel. And Keel just looking at options. I think he's going to set it up here. And he does. Looking for somebody to come out and meet it. And he finds it. And that's Josh Hall. What an athlete he is.
Yeah, been hot and cold this year, Josh. He's had some fantastic games. I think he kicked 5 in one game that stands out and won the game for his team. But a bit quieter last week. in their loss to the Giants, but that's a good lead and a nice hit. So a chance for him to kick another one from that pocket.
Yeah, well, Trent Stubbs gave him a side. He goes with the check side. He just pulls it to the near side. So 1-1-7 playing one behind. About 8 minutes gone of this first quarter. Petty Yagmore kicks it in, finds Adrian Williams. And this is where I think Redland need to be particularly efficient, particularly when they get caught in this zone defence that Southport will play. A little short ball, doesn't go the required distance. And Mitch Johnson lays the tackle on Miller. And that's probably a good piece of evidence right there that they just need to find a way out far more efficiently out of their defence.
Well, Yagmore can kick the ball 65, 70 metres. I reckon they'd be better planned to just go long and have some runners at the face of the pack.
Hall did the ruck work. Good tackle there. The time laid by Salter on Manteet. So close to goal. Mills. And just holds his player off. So that's a block in the ruck contest. What do you make of that one, Bob?
Yeah, look, those ruck infringements are very hard to sort of... they go one way or the other, don't they? And it's difficult one to always judge. So you just got to give the umpire full credit that he saw something there. So I'm sure there was some interference. And here's a chance here for Josh Hall. He missed with the other one. Let's see what he does with this one.
And Mills just stuck the arm out and just tried to block the run. Barely touched him though. So coming in, Josh Hall. That one's online. And that's the second goal for Southport. And they move to a 2-1-13. Redland one behind. 9.5 minutes gone. They're probably kicking against the breeze too, I would have thought, Bob. And they're making a bit of a fist of it so far.
Yeah, look, they look more dangerous going forward. They've got some targets up there and they're lowering their eyes. Didn't see the free kick, so hard to comment on that. But what I have seen so far is Tyler Roos on fire in the midfield. They really need to work hard to curtail his influence. I see Damien Stephen now manning him up at centre bounces, but you've had Sol Cormick and also Sam Cunnington on him in the first 10 minutes or so. Hasn't worked.
So 4 disposals for Tyler Roos. Williams leads Southport with 5 and Batoli Simmons with 4 for Redlands as we're underway again. Play on's the call. Ball just fed out. 5, little chipper. Yeah, wide, finds Reeves, the premiership defender, as you rightly said, in for his first game this year. A late in. That kicks a little bit mischievous. Feeding it back was Cormack. Off to Cunnington. Now Franks just puts it in the path of Hamilman. He can't take it. Reece Clark, long looping handball. Taylor, they've done this well. They've got away. And they'll go to the outer side and they find Keel. So well done by Southport. Again, very organised in defence. Hall can't take it on this occasion. Mills couldn't take it with him. Clements, little ball inside forward 50. Stubbs just turns his opponent around. He'll run in. Open goal, and that's 3 for Southport and 2 for Stubbs. A good start for the Sharks here at Scottsdale Park. 3-1-19. Redland, the one behind. 11.5 minutes gone. Are the floodgates opening? Are the Bombers in a bit of strife early, Bob?
Yeah, well, look, it was just great use of the footy, wasn't it? By foot. Tom Fields, a beautiful kick to Keel. Keel long forward. The ball got over the back, and Stubbs, as I mentioned, is a handy pickup for the Southport Sharks. He is a lot of experience, and he can really play, and he's proved dangerous already. 2 goals.
3 first quarter goals, not even halfway through this first quarter. Get underway again. Turner, he stayed down and he just roves his own ball. A little good luck with that kick, and it was Hall. He took the mark and then he played on. He should have gone back and kicked for goal. Redland repelled, but only as far as Fife. Feed the ball in. Dale. Now back to Clark. Usually good on the left foot, but not on that occasion. The commentators curse strikes and finds Billy Johnson. Johnson. Just goes back in, finds Mills. Just trying to spread the defence. And now they're caught back in this same sort of position as Williams has the ball and allows Southport to just set their defence and make it very hard for Redland to get out. So Williams goes long and Turner comes through. Malone with the late fist. Ball at ground level. We'll be tied up and we'll throw it up.
Yeah, I'm happy for him to go short or shift the play or switch the play, but they've got to kick it to someone that can play on and get the ball over the lines. That's the key.
Well, it was almost a free kick to Malone, I would have thought. Not to be, says the umpire, as play goes on. Tied up again. Just thrown off the ball. The mailman. He's been delivering balls to his midfielders willy-nilly this year. 70-plus hit-outs a couple of times this year. There's another one for him. Looking for Damien Stephen, but the ball close to the boundary line and goes over.
Need a real spark, don't they, Redland? They just look as though they're a little bit flat at the moment, and Southport have got all the answers. They need some inspiration from their senior players.
False start from the boundary umpire. Beautiful throw in, though. Malone just hits it back his way, but Fife is the first one to get hands on it. Just lobs the ball up, one-on-one, and the strength of Adrian Williams wins out that time over Trent Stubbs. Doesn't go the required distance. Hall spoils the McGannon handball. And again, stuck in that back half of the ground.
Yeah, good defensive pressure, though, from Southport. Good work from Hall there to get a fist on that as McGannon went for the handball. The Fish Creek boy. As Big Tiny goes off, funny time to go off.
Just not sure why Malone would have gone off at this time with the ball deep in Southport's forward line. They get it going their way, though. Ball on the ground. Just trying to kick it off the ground was Johnson. Ball fed out wide. So Southport with their tackling pressure right up this afternoon. Just finding a way to keep the ball locked in that area. Inside 50s at the moment. 5 apiece. But in terms of time inside 50, I think you'll find Southport really dominate that area. Turner. Just almost a little love tap down looking for a teammate. Couldn't do it. Or find it. Ball over the boundary line. So we'll boundary umpire throw it in with a bit more vigour. Mills and Turner. A real clear winner. There's a free kick on play. And Mills it will be that wins the free kick for a hold in that ruck contest.
Yeah, unlikely ruckman, Stephen Mills, but he's got the ball a couple of times now from that position. Now it's a hold to Caleb Franks off the ball.
I suggest it might have gone against Boston there. Seem to be playing pretty close to each other. Williams got the ball, goes back out to Franks. Now there's a little bit of room to move. Need to be efficient here. Clay Cameron just comes up to meet the ball on the wing. Short ball. Just finds the debutant, Daniel Fleming, the boy from Maroochydore. The Roos up there on the Sunshine Coast, up towards Hamilman. Reece Clark did well, almost took the mark. Murdoch's there, but in the ball off. They're just going to come away here again. There is Willis. They just continually mop it up from defence. Boston. Out to Fife, close to the boundary line on that occasion. Doesn't find Dylan Fife, and the ball bounces harmlessly over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in to half back Redland as they try and defend. Or attack, I should say.
Started well, Dylan Fife, former Tasmanian on-baller. He's picking up a lot of possessions already.
Back into play, Boston. Under pressure, he got his handball across, but only found Redland player. Inside forward 50. That was Walsh. And he got the handball to Murdoch. So they're under enormous pressure there. And well done as Mackenzie Willis off to Jordan Taylor. Now to Reeves. Reeves just had to pivot on that 1 foot. Stubbs went to ground. Trying to work his way through and not doing it real well there. Was Charlie Ford. Redland back inside forward 50. Hamilman just protect the drop zone but didn't actually quite get there. Tyler Roos works hard to push back in defence. Waxes with Clark and also back there Tape. And Ruse racks up another possession. Lee Dale does well, pushes his man under the ball and tries to put the skates on, but he can't quite take it with him. Kicks it off the ground, stays in. Clements just chips the ball back, finds Manteet. Hasn't quite been in the form of last year. Michael Manteet so far this year, and that kick probably proves that. He kicked that out of bounds on the full. Yeah,
very unlike Michael Manteet, usually very good by foot. But, yeah, look, finding a little bit of the footy today. He'd be up against his mate Hayden Batoli-Simmons.
Fleming gets ball. It's a nice kick, finds Bailey. So Boyd Bailey, chipping ball, finds Walsh. Now to the run. That time of Bailey, he got it back over the top. Hamilman just tries to get back on it, can't do so. And not a bad result as Redland get at least a stoppage right beside their goals.
He's a hard man to play on, isn't he, Clark? He's got a lot of experience, a boy from Kyabram.
Malone. Tape just belts it, just trying to look in hope more than anything else for a teammate. Fields. The pressure on him forced him to just have the ball spill over the boundary line, so the good Redland forward pressure now. What can they do? They need to probably get a goal just to get their tail up, Bob, I would have thought.
Yeah, look, they just look dejected, don't they, the way they're going about it. No real spark at all.
Hall can't take it with him. Franks ripped off the ball. Would have been close to a free kick for mine. Salter keeps it in. Cars. Now to Franks. Across the face and right across the face. Out of bounds on the full. At least a shot at goal. Inside 50s favouring Redland 9-5, but just no real meaningful type of work, is it?
No, they haven't. They've looked haphazard in their forward entries. The only real danger kick in was when Bailey had the 1-2 there just a moment ago and kicked it long. But Hamilton was unable to take the grab. But, yeah, look, they've got some targets up there, Hamilton and Cameron. They've just got to use the ball better and kick it to their advantage. They have not kicked it to their advantage in the forays forward so far.
So Clark will bring it back in. Possession number 7, this one is. Just kicks it high and long. Looking for Turner, forced to spoil. Fife at ground level, well done by him. Chain of hands, ends up with Lee Dale. Little chipping ball, puts it in the path of Doran running onto it. Goes backwards, pivots, gives it to Boston. Good by foot usually. And McGannon was there for Redland. He was looking for Mutu, was Boston, but not to be. It's on the golf course with Andrew Boston on Friday and Clay Cameron. Interesting. It's a nice ball too.
Yeah, they both can hit the golf ball. I've played with Clay before.
Fine young men, both of them, playing on opposition to each other today. And the ball at ground level will have a ball up. Just need to fly the flag here a little bit, Redland, and spark themselves up. Malone does it well. Dale, though, just gets a little toe to it and ricochets back under him. Done by Clements, who gets it out to Doran, now to Boston. Time to move and size things up. Chips the ball up and finds Dale, who ran hard to find that space. Well done by Lee Dale. 35 metres out, but very tight angle indeed from there. Looks like he's going to have a go, Bob.
Well, they've tried the banana from out there. Whether he does the same, I'm not sure, but tough kick. Tough kick.
Just across the face it looks, and easily killed off by Peter Yagmore. So one behind. 3-2-20 to one behind. 22 minutes gone of this first quarter here at Scottsdale Park. It's round 8 of the NEAFL. And that's a lovely kick by Yagmore. That's what he's capable of. That's what's in the kit bag, that deadly left foot. There's Hamilman. Comes across. Wants to be the coach's pet and kicks it to Phil Cars. Cars out to Batoli. Simmons really had to stretch for it. And those are the kicks that just need to hit when you're trying to transition the ball cleanly from defence to attack.
Yeah, it just looked like he's carrying that right knee a little bit, doesn't he, Hayden? He started well the first 5 minutes, but he's gone out of the play a little bit.
Turner took front spot, but it mattered not. Malone just got involved. Eventually, it was Cunnington that got the kick away. Chain of hands, finds Boyd Bailey. Cormac gave it to him, just puts it in the path of Hamilman. Not sure the kick was meant to go there per se, but if you're a forward in the front spot and can protect the drop zone, as Matthew Hamilman was, you will take advantage every time.
Yeah, good work from Hamilman. He pushed up for that kick in from Yagmore to take the mark and get himself into the game. He's been really well beaten by his opponent in Reece Clark, but that should give him some confidence. 2 marks, and if he can boot this one, that might be the spark they need.
So the leading goal kicker in the NEAFL last year, lining up for his first this week, and that is pinpoint. It was beautiful and crisp off the boot, and that's Redland's first. So Matthew Hamilman puts a mark on the goal side of the score sheet for Redland. 117 they move to. Still adrift of Southport by 13 points. They're at 3-2-20. And we've played around about 24 minutes of this first quarter.
Yeah, look, they try and pinpoint their kicks going forward, Redland, and take their time when they've got a mark or a free kick. I'd just wheel and go. Just get that Southport defence under a little bit more pressure by getting it in quickly to your 2 tall targets. And certainly that'd be my advice at this stage for Redland. Just get it in quickly.
Beautiful bounce on the ground. That's a beautiful hit out. That was Malone to Cunnington. Going a little bit too early. Just got his fingers on the ball, which saved him, Seb Tape. Jordan Taylor. That is a handball under pressure, where he's just really given it the heave-ho. Went out of bounds, and the appeal was for deliberate, not to be. What's your thoughts there, Bob? He was under pressure.
Was under pressure, and it could have gone anywhere, but it definitely, I think he was looking for that boundary line. Sol Cormac needs to lift.
He generally is the barometer in terms of energy. There he is in the play. Lays a tackle on Turner. Sunshine Coast boys, them both. And Bailey puts it right to the goal line. Hits the goal post. I thought the faithful were going to go up there, but just faded a little and hit the goal post. So 1 point. 12 points now the margin. Kick in by Fields. Yagmore tries to spin out of the Johnson tackle, can't do so. The umpire's just hovering over this one, says, give that one to me. No chance. Ruckman, busy wrestling and forgot about the ball. Turner went for the footy at ground level, couldn't win it. Malone, smothered kick, just ricocheted off. Unable to take it was Cormac at the half volley. It was a tough get, but Batoli Simmons as the ball came out. Over the top of Clark, right to the goal line. Jordan Taylor's there, though, and they can mop it up. It's the ball out to Mutu. Eventually, out of pocket, still in their defence. Up to Timokaya Bowie. Part of the Suns Academy. Little chipping ball. Just a hit-up target. Finds a player there. And that's Ford. Hard to see it in the prison bars a little bit there. Good mark there by Stubbs. Further afield, just on the outer wing. Mutu gets to him on the bounce. Feeds it back to Stubbs, so a little bit of stat work. Hayden Keel gets involved now to Tyler Roos. In fact, it wasn't Roos. We'll pick it up in a minute, as I don't want to credit him with the clanger. It was actually Malone that got involved there. Sol Cormac, little bit of a dodgy handball. Put Batoli Simmons under pressure. A true centre-half back. And now Manteet with the ball. He can put it back in, but just offline. Got it from Josh Williams and just couldn't convert. A little bit sloppy by hand there from Redland. Just opened the door up for Southport. Damien Stephen gets it off to Adrian Williams. Little chipping ball comes over the top. Finds Jack Ratton, the boy from Cooperoo, from the Kings. I'll ask you about him in a moment, Bob. I haven't seen much of him getting around. Clay Cameron went high, but it went over the top of him and only into the arms of Jordan Taylor. Nice kick, finds Bowie. Stubbs had front spot, but the kick just didn't favour him. He works hard to try and get back involved. When Miller was right there with him, the ball spills free of those too. And then is in amongst another pack, not far away from them. So ball caught up in Southport's forward 50 here yet again.
Yeah, haven't had a lot to do with Jack Ratton. He's obviously from Cooperoo Juniors and also Macrobat.
Malone. Looked like copying a high one was a Redland player right underneath the pack there. As Clements gets up from the tackle. And also Mutu. I'll pick up who that player is in just a moment. McGannon it was, the boy from Fish Creek. And Barry Stanfield living up in Queensland these days. He's a boy from Fish Creek as well. Former Footscray player. See the ball just going to be thrown up close to the boundary line. Only 15 metres away from Southport's goal, so they'll be looking for another one before quarter time. Malone gets it down. Boston just tries to squeeze one out under pressure. Almost dacked there was Hayden Keel. And they bring it out. It's a little bit scrappy out there. Running onto it there was Cormick. Nice kick, finds at half back. Clay Cameron. They've got plenty of open space to work with. Well done there by Ratton. Worked hard. They've got numbers goal side. Push it back in. Find Billy Johnson. Now to Cars. Just flooding back in numbers, the Southport defence. And he gets it, tries to get around at least a player. Has to feed it back to McGannon. McGannon, long ball. Just sits up high. Clark was looking for the screamer. Couldn't take it. Batty Simmons' first one was smothered, and then the second one, he copped a high one, so he wins the free kick. It was Seb Tape that just collected him a little bit across the chops. So Hayden Batty Simmons, former captain, and go back and shoot for goal.
Yeah, this is one they really need, isn't it? We mentioned earlier the experience of the Southport backline. They've got no teenagers in their team. Their average age is nearly 24, and you've got 6 teenagers in for Redland. So they're trying to promote the youth, and their average is about 21.8.
All the stats thanks to Bob Batty there as Batty Simmons' kick comes in and nails it. A lot of the Leighton Hewitt come-ons from the Redland faithful here at Scottsdale Park. Around that 30-minute mark of the first quarter, they've narrowed the margin back to 7 points. Redland 2-2-14, Southport 3-3-21. And again, just a little bit of a lift in confidence. It hasn't been pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but they're keeping themselves in the game here, Bob. Yeah,
look, Tiny's been really good in the ruck, getting his hand on the footy, and full credit to the younger blokes. Caleb Franks has been okay on Boston. You've had Dan Flemings snuck in and had a couple of possessions, and Jack Ratton, beautiful lead there and a lovely hit up from Clay Cameron. That's what they've got to do, move it quickly.
Batty Simmons with 7 disposals, Adrian Williams with 6 and Billy Johnson with 5, along with Bailey and also Franks. And then for Southport, Clark and Williams have 7 apiece with Stubbs and Ruse, amongst others with 6 as well. All away from the stoppage as we see the quarter-time siren, or at least we hear it. And at quarter-time, it's a 7-point lead to Southport, 3-3-21, Redland 2-2-14. Bob Batty, how'd you see that first quarter?
Yeah, look, it was dominated by Southport, and yet they're only 7 points in front. So Redland will be not pleased with that quarter, but at least they're within striking distance. And I think Southport will have the breeze in the second quarter. If there is any breeze at this ground today, it's going the opposite direction it normally goes. But yeah, look, they hung in there, which is a positive for Redland, but Southport look as though they've got all the answers at this stage, and certainly down back they're holding sway, and they've got some targets up forward. Stubbs has been impressive.
So goal kickers, it's 2 for that man you just mentioned, Trent Stubbs, and 1 for Josh Hall, while for Redland, it was the former skipper, Hayden Batty Simmons, with 1 just before the quarter-time siren, and Matthew Hamilman just that little bit earlier. as well with the goal. So that is probably all we're going to do here just for the moment as the two teams get some messages from their respective coaching staff. And 7 points the margin here at quarter time on NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. We'll be back with you very shortly. And welcome back to Scottsdale Park here. It's quarter time. They're just players running from their huddles to take out their positions. It was the away side, the visitors, the Southport Sharks, who've taken a quarter time lead in 3-3-21. Redland 2-2-14. Joining myself, Mark Kennedy, is Bob Batty. And Bob, Southport started very strongly, but Redland fought back towards the end of that first quarter.
Yeah, look, at least they stuck their hand up and had a bit of a crack in that last 10 or 15 minutes, but they need to really dig deep now. Kicking into a slight bruise, I would have thought Redland and Southport, I'm pretty sure they might have got a stinging attack there for their last 15 minutes from their coach.
We'll see what this second quarter brings as we get underway. Malone just hits the ball forward. Murdoch, he's just dispossessed. Well on there by Franks. Cars, it's it off to Malone. Cameron. And now Salter kicked inside forward 50. And well done there by Seb Tape, who took a good mark under extreme pressure inside his defensive 50.
Salter's a rock, aren't they, back there?
That they are. Fields. Long ball over the top of Stubbs and also Williams. Williams just puts it out towards the boundary line, and the umpire will throw it in. I thought for a moment he was going to give that a deliberate. Did you think that, Bob, the way his hand started to signal?
The way the umpire ran there with his right arm hanging down, but he put his other duke up and said, let's throw it in.
So half forward, Southport attack. Malone just not bumped off the ball real well. The umpire says, boundary umpire didn't quite get enough purchase on it. And he'll ask him to throw it in yet again. This time that one looks a bit better. Turner from the back just probably had the better of it. Doran, who got it from 5, puts it inside forward 50. Just coming out to meet it there with Stubbs. He's been lively. He's presenting or proving a handful for Adrian Williams in his 100th NEAFL game.
Yeah, Williams will beat him in the air every time if it's a marking contest high, but on the lead and with a bit of space, he's a very, very dangerous player. And this is within his range, I think, this one.
So Trent Stubbs, already with 2 to his name, gives it a fair roost. It's going to go right to the line. And just some hands on it there. So 1 point is the result. Puts the margin back out to 8 points. It's Petty Egmore. What's he going to do this time? Short or use the cannon? Just a little wedge. Finds Stallard. That's not a good kick. And Mackenzie Willis, the former Gold Coast Sun, just takes the mark. Distinctive blue boots. Chips ball back, finds Fields. And Fields, not sure where to go, so he'll go down the line on the left foot in the direction of Hall. Couldn't take it. Showing clean set of heels there was Clements. Stubbs was edged under it by Adrian Williams, and the ball goes over the boundary line harmlessly at this point in time, at least for the Redland defence. Just interesting moments in this game, Bob. You feel like both sides just posturing.
Yeah, they really need to have an impact around the packs here. Caleb Franks is putting his hand up. He needs a few mates around that drop of the ball.
Malone just gets it down. Johnson couldn't get a foot to it. That was Mitch Johnson, not Billy, who's playing for the opposition. And just happy to take it out there was Harrison Hunkin. Haven't seen much of him, and because he hasn't had a possession. That's why. Neither is Mitch Johnson for that matter. He's had a couple of tackles though. Led Southport's goal kicking last year with Mitch Johnson. Free kick on play. It'll go the way of the mailman. Craig Malone, or Tiny as he's known. He's anything but. Kick's not a great one. Just sits up. Bailey was caught underneath it. The spoil down to Ruse and Fife. A little chipping one finds Rob Clements, the veteran. He doesn't mind a goal. The boy from Red Hill.
Just on his distance, this one, isn't it? Just on it. So you'd have to hit this nice and clean and hit it well.
Comes in. It's got the legs, but not the distance. Not the accuracy, I should say. 1 point. Margin out to 9. Yagmore can do it again. Short one finds Williams in the pocket. Asked to go now. So just sit it up. Long. Mackenzie Willis had front spot. Ball at ground level. Ruse. Fields. And just overcooked it. Was looking for Lee Dale and only found that man Adrian Williams seems to be in the right spot a lot when he's defending. Puts it out from where it was, and Mackenzie Willis this time takes the mark off the Adrian Williams kick. Intercept mark. And he'll just sit it up, looking for the tall targets. No clear winner. Coming away with it was Cunnington. Well, short ball was just, again, intercepted. Just security with the ball. Ruse gives it to Fields, and as soon as he kicked it, he turned around in disgust and knew it was out of bounds on the full. Didn't give it a chance.
No, kicked it over the gum trees, right over the back, and as you said, was disgusted with that usually surgeon-like left foot out of bounds on the full. But look, they're looking dangerous, aren't they? Mackenzie Willis, 2 intercept marks. They just look on top everywhere, but finding it hard to get the goals on the board.
Strangely enough, Barry Stanfield in the background there. And that kick just finds Brodie Murdoch. Another left footer. And right to that pocket again. And Timikai Bowie, it's pretty fair to say, went up before acceptances. And Peter Yagmore just took a very easy mark. Ball off to Cormick. Now to McGannon. McGannon out looking for Hamilman. Safe hands he has. Generally good by foot too. Sits this one up. That's a nice kick. Space opened up for Stallard. And he plays on. Comes in board and then gets it to half forward. Clay Cameron's the target. Brings it down to ground. Walsh just goes through his hand, but he gets back on it now. Off to Johnson. Inside forward 50. Ball at ground level. Damien Stevens there, but couldn't take it with him. And the pressure was applied by Mackenzie Willis. Ball out of bounds. It's a good kick by Hamilman. Just to wait for the leading players to open the space up for Stallard back there.
Yeah, no, that's what they've got to do. They don't have to be exactly precise. Just give their teammate an opportunity to run onto it.
Johnson. It's Billy Johnson wrapped up by Fields, so we'll have a ball up there. Big hello to Billy's father, Quentin Johnson, former champion of the QAFL, Western Districts man, a Bulldog through and through. Fields, Mantee, now Ruse. Just measures the kick nicely up towards Johnson and cops a high one, so he'll win the free kick. A bit of ink on Mitch Johnson's arms. He's got a little bit of fresh work happening there. Ball to right to forward 50. Clements just got the ball from Mutu and was unceremoniously dumped in the tackle. Bowie, little handball off to Reeves. He can run in, gives the handball in, opens the goal up for Dale, who kicks an easy one. So very well done there. Particularly under enormous pressure. I didn't quite catch who the handball. It was Mutu that gave the handball up to Clements. That was a ripper.
Yeah, good work from the stoppage, and they're on top around the packs. I mentioned Caleb Franks getting his hand on the footy a bit, but he needs a few of his mates in there. Sol Cormick, Damien Stephen, the coach Phil Cass, Hayden Batoli Simmons out in the wing. They need those players. Tommy Salter, start to get the hands on the footy because they're getting smashed around the contest.
Well, Southport, with that Lee Dale goal, moved to 4-5-29. Redland 2-2-14. Played 9 minutes of this second quarter. And Lee Dale got his first on the board. Haven't seen too much of Lee Dale this year. And that one will be recalled by the umpire. The ball thrown up in the air instead this time. Give that one to Turner. Coming through there was Mantee. Fleming couldn't take it with him. Carsey goes for it. I shouldn't call him Carsey. His name's Cars, and he's the coach. Turner. It's inside forward 50. On there by Yagmore. Feeds it out. Finds Miller. Miller finds Mills. And that's a nice kick. And finds Daniel Fleming. Hello to all those Marucci-roos, no doubt watching and tuning in. Head coach Andrew Cadzo will probably be having a look from one of his bookshops as well. Ball to half forward. Kick smothered as Redland try to get it going their way. Cars it is, gets it inside forward 50. And getting a hand on the ball was Ratton, couldn't clasp it with the mitts and out of bounds it goes.
Just no real structure going forward, have they? It's very haphazard. They're kicking and look, they've got some targets. They should give them some space. Cameron and Hamilman, give them one out and see how they go with kicking the ball in there long for them.
That one to Turner again. Starting to break a little bit more square with Malone. Ball at ground level going nowhere. Malone's had 19 hit-outs to 8 to Turner. Probably just hasn't been quite as dominant as could be. There's a free kick there. Didn't quite pick up what that one's for.
No, couldn't see it. But Jai Keneally, this would be his first touch too, I think.
Yes, you're spot on. Hasn't touched the ball to this point. Jai Keneally. He and Harrison Hunkin haven't had a possession for their respective sides. And Jai Keneally. 45 metres out, launches it right to the line. Hamilman, he had plenty of it, not to be. And then Fleming just guided it down with one hand onto the left boot. And a goal on debut for the boy from Maroochydore. Well done there by Daniel Fleming. Moves Redland off to 3-2-20. Southport 4-5-29.
Yeah, you mentioned Andrew Cadzo. They've won a couple of flags in a row up there at Maroochydore and the Roos, and that young fella was part of it last year in 2018. Him and a other young fella called Noah Cumberland, who's playing for the Lions Academy this year and hopefully in the Allies. So not afraid to blood the youngsters, and good to see Redland blooding some more youngsters, and Daniel Fleming's first game, and he'll remember that goal for a long time.
I know that one will go up on the Marucci-roos social media posts during the week. Very active they are. And the margin is back to 9 points. Bounce to the middle of Scottsdale Park. Malone got it down. Boston just trying to fight his way for a bit of clear space. Salter applies pressure. Dale couldn't take it with him. And then he goes back in and lays the tackle. Holds the ball up. And Cunnington's the man that was right there with him. Turner. Yagmore comes away with it. Just puts it back. Hamilman, front spot. Does well. That's not a good kick off the boot, but it might work for Cormick. Just didn't look pretty. Like he hit it sweetly, but still went to the advantage of Sol Cormick, and he did well to make it look good.
Another Sunny Coast boy, yeah, not one of Matthew Hamilton's best kicks, but as you said, the direction was good, and Sol Cormick made it even better by taking a strong contested mark. And this will put him back right into the contest, won't it? It'll make it a 3-point margin if he can secure this one.
Started his footballing life at Nambour Football Club on the Sunshine Coast, but finished, I won't say he's finished his football life, but finished that kick at least across the face. And of course came back from an ACL last year, Sol Cormick, so great to see him back out on the park as Brody Murdoch just gives it the heave-ho down the middle of Scottsdale Park. Boston's there, trying to feed the ball out. Franks just dives on it. He might be in trouble. The ball ripped out. Cunnington only feeds it off to Jordan Taylor for Southport. I'll just try and organise from the back half. Ruse to Tape. Now to half forward. Stubbs is right there. Stallard. Really good mark there. Good body work. And just protected the drop zone. He's just hurt himself as he's come down. It looks like a shoulder.
It'd be a shame for the kid. He's been very good down in defence for Redland in the first part of this year. And no, it looks like he's okay. A bit sore though.
Yeah, he's gone down on the one knee. Just fed the quick handball off to McGannon. A short little kick. Found Keneally. He's gathering himself. Now they go back. Williams just needs to find the kick here. Does so. Finds Yagmore. Just dropping back in space in numbers. And Southport. Kicks a good one. Precise. Walsh. Chipping ball inside. Has Clay Cameron. They can go here. Go long. 1-on-1. Malone and Clark. And Malone tiny. Out muscles, out points. The smaller man. Good work there by Redland.
Yeah, quick kicks. Oh, Yagmore again. Beautiful. Precision kick that hit Kyle Walsh, who found a target. And off the turnbuckle, the big fella.
And they've undone all their good work. Malone just tugged the ball. Only 1 point, so not getting return for investment there. Margin back at 7 points. Theoretically could be in front. Now Clark, the ball from Ruse goes out wide. Oh, that's a crunching hit. Doran might have been the man, and he's hurt. And Batty Simmons is right there, and it's Miller. It was Miller and Doran. Doran slowly getting back to his feet, but there's no doubt. And he's a little bit hurt, as is Miller, and he's really struggling.
He's a tough nut, Scott Miller, so if he's lurched over, he's really hurt, I'd say.
Malone to down. Cunnington, quick ball. Rolls the ball along the ground. And Miller still down on that wing. Just trying to catch his breath. He might have got a fair old corky as well as having the wind really taken out of him.
Did Stello go off the ground, or is he still out there? He looked as though he could hardly move his arm.
Malone took it out of the ruck. Just got away with it. Cars, little ball. Fleming comes through, across, shoots for goal. And that's 2 for Fleming. Lovely bit of play. Malone from the ruck. They fed it inside and just swooping on the ball. Doing it wonderfully was the debutant. 2 in this second quarter. And the margin back to just 1 point.
Yeah, great fight back, wasn't it, from Redland? The last 10 minutes they've lifted. They're attacking the ball ferociously. You saw that hit with Scott Miller and Doran over on that far wing. That's the intent that they've got on the ball carry at the moment, Redland. They're really attacking the footy. And what a finish. Like we said, that'll be up in the social media, his first goal. Well, I think that one will certainly get some airplay. That was a ripper goal.
So 1 point, the margin. 18 minutes gone to this second quarter, and all of a sudden you just got the feeling we've got a legitimate contest happening.
Yep, fully agree.
The ball gets recalled, and you just expected Southport to come. They really held sway in the first part of that first quarter. Redland have just started to find a little bit of momentum, bit of spark, and should be in front with a few missed easy goals. Keel got the handball away. Hall, he was tackled, so turned it over. Batty Simmons just didn't get enough on it, the kick that is, and Manteet took the mark and got it to Willis, out to Bowie on that outer side. Down the outer wing he goes, over the head of Stubbs. Dale's there though, he can get back on it. Yagmore's right there with him, wraps him up, and the ball just held to the belly of Lee Dale, and the umpire says, give it to me. There's a fair bit more urgency.
Yeah, good work, Yagmore. He realised that Dale had gone to ground. He just held the ball there to him.
Hall. Just jumped over Malone on that occasion. The ball taken somewhat harmlessly out of play. Quite at their best, Southport at the moment, but that's due to the pressure that Redland are starting to put on them. Well done there by Malone again. Ball in dispute. And a little toe from a Southport player. Just puts it out of bounds on the full, and the captain, Tom Salter, can bring it back in. Or former captain. Captain?
Former.
Mackenzie Willis was there, trying to handball in mid-air. There was Damien Stephen. Ball goes back Southport's way. Lee Dale has the run of it. Now gathers, gets it to Hall, taps it off. Finds Clements. Goes across. Mitch Johnson, he was looking for the ball out the back, but Adrian Williams came across. Under pressure. He's got to pick the ball up first and foremost, and Mitch Johnson just applies enough pressure to him to force the ball out of play. Let's look a little bit, lost their structure a little bit, Southport, and that's, as I said, credit to Redland for not being able to let them settle.
Getting frustrated, aren't they?
And that they are, is giving away a free kick is Timokoya Bowie.
I think the coach, Steve Daniel, will give him a major tonks here. Bowie, that was very undisciplined.
Harrison Hunkin onto Williams, and the kick wasn't a good one, finds Hayden Keel. So the experience of Hayden Keel, we'll see if he can just use the ball properly. He does well, finds Lee Dale. And bodies were just encroaching upon that contest, but Dale got there over the back of Williams and just goes over for a behind, extends the margin, doubles the margin to 2 points here at Scottsdale Park, round 8 of the NEAFL. We'll see if what Redland can do. Played over 21 minutes of this second quarter. Williams has a bit of space and a bit of time and finds a target in Hunkin. The left foot just sits the ball up a bit high, and luck's of fortune. The free kick going the way of Jai Keneally. In turn just sits it up, looking for Malone. And just getting to the front spot was Ratton. Turner was more intent on wrestling Malone instead of looking at the ball. Goes up towards Cars, and that was a 2-on-1 contest. It's okay to look after the coach, but not with it kicking it to a 2-on-1 against him. Mackenzie Willis does well and gets it to Jordan Taylor, so just got to be a little bit better, more disciplined in the ball use there, Bob.
Just kicking the ball too high, aren't they? Kick it lower and give your teammate a chance to run onto it.
Over the top of Williams. Hunkin's there. He's tackled. Well done there by the pressure of the Southport forwards. On that occasion, it was Ford that was applied the appropriate pressure. Malone. Ruse ripped off the ball. Manages to come out though. Fields ends up with it. Got it from Doran. Deep inside forward 50, and it's Williams that spoiled the ball, thinking that the pressure was coming, the contest, the contact was coming. So Southport you just sense they're starting to lift again.
Yeah, they need to. They're being certainly Redland are playing the better football as we speak, and good to see young Stullard back out there and running around.
Ball at ground level. Turner, he'll go hard at it, picks it up. Malone lays the tackle on him. Well done, he would have enjoyed that as the two ruckmen clash not only at the ruck contest, but at ground level.
It was nearly 0.8 on the Richter scale, that one, when they both hit the ground there, Kanga.
A fair bit of weight between them. Malone, it's a boot to it. Does it go the required distance? Cunnington's right there. Didn't take the mark, so play on it is anyway. I'll have the ball up. Malone at 112 kilos and Turner at 110. Plenty there. Dangerous. Mills just ducks under the tackle and then just doesn't kick it well. Kicked it off the one step, not knowing he had a little bit more time in the finish. And Hayden Keel gets it. Runs off the mark and then hooks it to the top of the goal square, over the back of the contest. Lee Dale is first there. Right there with him is Yagmore. Fed out by Bailey. Also Mills. Mackenzie Willis just went to ground, but good enough to find a bit of time and space. Doran gets it to Clark, touched off the boot. Dale keeps it in. Feeds it back to Doran. Just a high up and under, goes nowhere. In fact, it does go somewhere. It's out of bounds on the full.
Great pressure, Redland. Their defenders are really working hard. Yagmore's been really good. Williams had a good quarter. And they're standing up pretty well back there under a lot of pressure.
Just the 3 goals in this quarter so far. 25 minutes gone to this second quarter. Back down the line as Hamilman gets involved. Forced to spoil from the back spot, but good enough to put it out of bounds. Just love to see Hamilman getting a little bit more involved. We know when he does, he's just a magnet for the football.
I'll be inclined to throw him in the ruck when Tiny wants to break instead of Mills.
Turner, Boston, did well. That was well done there. Redland, although that wasn't well done. Almost had a fresh air shot, Williams. Hunkin, looping handball. McGannon feeds it off, trying to ride the tackle. There was the Redland player in Cunnington, Damien Stephen, and then McGannon got it off. Off to Cunnington, and here comes the young man in Ratton. Couple of bounces, he can run almost right in, gives it over the top. Knows where his bread's buttered because he gives it to the NEAFL leading goal kicker from last year, Matthew Hamilman. And the Redland Bombers hit the front for the first time today.
Fantastic goal, wasn't it, Kanga? It all started from half back here. It was Williams miskicked it on his left, but butted up and got the ball moving. And then a couple of dodgy handballs got them out of trouble. McGannon was involved, but a great mark from Sam Cummington, the boy from Cobden and Camperdown. Hasn't had a great game. Last time we had a game here, he hardly touched the stats board, but that was a gutsy mark, and he fed it out beautifully. Off they went, and Ratton showed some poise, didn't he, to give it to the goal kicker in Hamilton.
Well done there to Redland. I said it was the first lead of the game. They actually kicked the first point of the game. So we'll give it the second lead of the game. A little bit more meaningful as we approach half-time, though. Turner and Malone. Malone just gathers it. Gets it to half forward. Taylor had front spot but couldn't take it with him. Manteet just rushes it forward. Mitch Johnson, a little bit of room to move. Hits it high, hits it long. Hall is the target. Just coming over the top with the spoil was the Redland defence. Was Stallard. Clements, a clever kick. Finds the big man in Jed Turner. Another Sunny Coaster. He can line up with a big loping left foot.
Yeah, dual premiership. I think he's had a premiership at Aspley, then played at Sydney Uni before going to Southport, and a premiership player there.
So Turner comes in, a little bit wobbly off the boot, pulls it to the near side. So the margin 3 points in favour of Redland.
You certainly wouldn't want to watch Malone and Turner in a kickoff for, if it was 5-all in a soccer kickoff.
I wouldn't want to have any little bit of a wager on any of them kicking for my life or anything of that nature. Ruse just mops up the kick from Stallard. Right in front of the NEAFL commentary box here on NEAFL TV, thanks to our broadcast partner Bar TV. A little chipping ball just finds Mackenzie Willis.
He's lifted for Southport. He's had a very good second quarter, taken about 5 marks.
It's long. Yagmore comes over the top, couldn't take it. Clements tries to keep it in, almost threw it up, trying to hopefully keep the ball in. Leading possession getters just for a moment. Tyler Roos has 16 disposals, 4 marks and 3 rebound 50s. Next best is Tom Fields with 10 disposals, while Adrian Williams for Redland has 12 and McGannon with 9. Lee Dale off to Mutu. Just didn't get any purchase on the contact off the foot. Well done by the Southport players who just keep the ball inside forward 50. Just force that stoppage. Malone and Turner again. Give that one to Turner. Malone went to ground. Turner goes again. Scrubbing ball along the ground. Just throwing a foot at it was Dale. Couldn't get anything on it. And then helped apply the tackle along with Hall. And Mills a little bit ginger to get up. But does so willingly. Southport looking for a late goal to put themselves back in front. Ball fed back. It was Boston. Now Manteet round the corner. It's across the face. It's drifting. And drifts all the way out of bounds on the full.
Just not hitting his targets as like he did last year, Michael Manteet. Just a little bit off his game, but full credit to Redland the way they're fighting hard.
Adrian Williams kicks it back in. Seb Tate can't take it with him. Trying to burst through there was Sol Cormick. Plenty of players around this contest. You can throw a handkerchief over about a dozen of them. Turner goes again. Ruse feeds the ball back. He was looking for Boston. Just getting in the way there was Damien Stephen. Happy to usher the ball out of bounds. Turner again. Fife is there. Ruse and also Batty Simmons and stalemate yet again. It's become a bit of an arm wrestle these last couple of minutes, Bob, just to try and assert some authority after that last Redland goal.
Yeah, look, I think that's playing in Redland's hand. Southport need to get the ball out wide and use their skills a bit more.
And get the ball going forward on that occasion. Bowie was the target. Kicking it forward was Ethan Reeves, but all of a sudden there's just a lot more pressure on the ball carrier.
Yeah, no, pull pressure. The Redland pressure in this second quarter has been fantastic, and the coach will be very happy, Carsey.
Malone got the front spot. There's Fife, ground level. Getting up with the ball is Adrian Williams. Just stealing it off him was Mitch Johnson, but couldn't get it far enough. Damien Stephen just tries to get it out of defence, and Seb Tate, he plays on. Probably could have taken a little bit more time, and then Turner is upended. Didn't have opportunity, said the umpire. And Manteet gets tackled, and we'll do it all again. Seb Tate probably could have gone back and gone for a shot at goal, Bob.
Unless it was touched off the boot. I didn't hear the call, but I don't know why he would have played on there. He's only 40 out.
Umpire blew his whistle to signal a mark. Malone does well. Batty Simmons around the corner. Boyd Bailey had front spot, does well. Clay Cameron feeds it out. I was looking for a target there in Ratton, but the experience of Brodie Murdoch wins out. And the halftime siren sounds. And an entertaining second quarter. I thought the first one lacked a bit of pizzazz, a bit of something. That second one came to life, and it came to life on the back of some real spark from the Redland Bombers as they kicked 3-1 in that second quarter to take a 3-point lead into half-time. And I probably just didn't quite see that one coming because Southport were kicking with the aid of a little breeze there, Bob, but Redland, to their credit, they were really good that quarter.
Certainly were, yeah. Look, full credit to young Daniel Fleming. I think he provided the spark. Those 2 goals where he showed some poise and some real class around goals, and then was involved in another one that ended up with Matthew Hamilman. And look, they've really hung in there. They weren't playing well initially, but their fans would be happy that they've really put their hand up in the second quarter and made a real arm wrestle of it. And Southport coach, you've got plenty of work to do now, Southport, to bounce back after a disappointing second quarter.
That they are. Well, just before we go to a bit of a break, we'll just let you in on a few stats to satisfy those that love their numbers. Overall possessions going Southport's way, 177 to 151. Inside 50s going Southport's way also, 26 to 21. Hitouts 32 to 17 Redland way. That's on the back of 31 hitouts from Craig Malone in that first half. And leading possession getters for the side leading at half-time, Redland. Adrian Williams has had 13 disposals, 9 marks, 7 rebound 50s. Matt McGannon has had 9 disposals, as has Hayden Batoli Simmons. And Malone's also had 9 to go with his 31 hitouts, as I mentioned. 5 clearances for Craig Malone as well. And a solitary behind. And Damien Stephen with 8 possessions. While for the Southport Sharks, Tyler Roos has had 17 first half disposals. He's had plenty of it. A couple of tackles and a couple of rebound 50s. Tom Fields, he's had 10 disposals in that first half. 3 inside 50s and 4 rebound 50s. And then 9 apiece to Mackenzie Willis, Reece Clark, Andrew Boston, Michael Manteet, and a whole host of others on 8. Interesting stuff here at Scottsdale Park with the underdogs, you'd suggest, coming into this game. The home side, the Redland Bombers, who are sitting 9th on the table in the NEAFL at the moment, up against the 3rd place Southport Sharks. They do take a lead, the Bombers, into half-time by 3 points. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with you for an action-packed second half of football here from Scottsdale Park. This is NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. We'll be back after the break. And welcome back to Scottsdale Park here for this round 8 NEAFL clash between the Redland Bombers, the home side, and the Southport Sharks. It is the home side holding sway here. They were down by 7 points at quarter time, but fought back with a 3-1 second quarter to be up by 3 points at the main change. Mark Kennedy is my name. I'm joined by Bob Batty. And Bob, it was an entertaining second quarter and a real good effort and good bit of grunt there as much as anything from Redland.
Yeah, full marks to Redland for fighting back in that second quarter. They did a really good job to get back into the contest, led by Big Tiny, Craig Malone, and their younger players who really put their hand up. Fleming was one, Caleb Franks, and young Jack Ratton even contributed very well. So well done to Redland, but big task in the second half to keep that effort going.
About to get underway. I'm going to see what Southport can come with. Heavy favourites coming into this contest, you'd suggest. Just the one loss for the year. Redland, they've struggled. Malone gets it down. Tyler Roos off to Boston. He can't quite handle it cleanly. Gets it to Turner. Turner to centre half forward Fields. And that's a lovely mark by Malone. I think there's a bit of friendly fire. He came down, all 112 kilos of him, on Adrian Williams. And also Tom Fields. And fair to say, both are a little bit ginger under the weight of Tiny.
Well, that's just off the top turnbuckle, that one, and Adrian Williams will be feeling his ribs there.
Goes out wide. Cars and also Boston. Cars does well, just comes back inside, gives it off to Clay Cameron. Cameron on the unfamiliar left, just coughs it up though. Gives it to Jordan Taylor. So at half back, finds Roos. Possession number 20 coming up for him. This one's all chipping one back. Murdoch. That's a dangerous kick, but just finds his teammate there in Williams. Under pressure. Hamilman wraps him up. Well done there by Redland. And you'd suggest Matthew Hamilman, this is within his range. Good pressure.
Oh, yeah, look, that's one thing Matthew Hamilman's got is speed. I remember him running about a 2:89, I think, for 20 metres in the testing when he was under 16. And he can really motor. And Williams has got some toe, and he was made to look slow in that chase down. So, yeah, he can kick this and really give them a boost.
And Matthew Hamilman, he's got 2 for the afternoon. Comes in, and he's just hit it on the outside of the boot. Always started right and finished that way. So 2-1 for Hamilman, and the lead is 4 points. Murdoch, low penetrating ball, finds Michael Mantee just outside his defensive 50. Is up the line to the wing. Hall has front spot, and on the second grab hangs on to it. Kicks it long. Fields is the target. He had Yagmore. He had him gone, but couldn't quite take the mark. Clements, and also there forward. Clements again, forward there. Good pressure there from Redland defence. It was Yagmore with the second effort. I thought he was going to get outpointed in the marking contest by Fields, but ended up getting the ball to ground and then affecting a stoppage. Great work.
Yeah, good defence, wasn't it? McGannon and Yagmore both did well then.
Batoli Simmons has got the quick handball and then kicked it out. Seb Tape run down by Hamilman. Play on's the call. Fields. Redland come away again. Clay Cameron. Chipping ball inside. Did well. Finds Cars. Play on's the... Oh, I was going to say play on's the call. No, it wasn't. And it was Josh Hall in the protected area. And so Phil Cars will get 50 metres.
Doing everything right at the moment, Redland. They're standing up to the pressure at Southport have lifted. And they're at this stage, they're answering the challenge.
Cars just sits it up. The run at it might have been the young man in Fleming, actually. Not to be. Cormick just shuffles the ball out. Salters there on hands and knees. Turner, he goes hard. Cormick lays a tackle. Former teammates, one stage or another, I think, Sol Cormick and Jed Turner. Mills gets the ball down. Ball kicked away from the contest. Players appeal for a deliberate out of bounds, and they get it. As McGannon gets it into Salter. Lobs it up, looking for the target. Hamilman's there. Boston couldn't quite handle the mark. On hands and knees, got the handball up. The ball just goes the way of Redland. And it was Kyle Walsh with the kick. The umpires will confer here. And 1 point, so it was clearly touched on the way through.
Touched off the boot, I think, but gee, it was a clever snap, wasn't it, from Kyle Walsh. Mount Gravatt Jr. and look, they're looking dangerous, aren't they? Every time they go forward, they're moving it quickly.
Boston with the ball. I was just about to say precise by foot, and he was exactly that in the finish because it only just stayed in, got to Seb Tate. It's backwards to Murdoch. They just looked to traverse Scottsdale Park and ends up with Reece Clark. Dangerous kick. Ruse can't quite get it on the second attempt, then runs straight into Walsh, forced a handball. So the ball in dispute now. So he's going to come away with it. Well done there by Redland. McGannon was involved. Ruse comes through, does well. Fields feeds it out wider. Just shimmying there was Doran on the left foot. Keel hasn't quite retained his spring in his step and gave away a free kick for going up a little bit too early.
Just looking behind player Trent Stubbs in real trouble with that shoulder. He's hit hard there by Caleb Franks, and I'm pretty sure he's coming off the ground.
Redland, dangerous kick. And it was Stallard was the man. Looked an elementary kick and just off one step, just came off the outside of the foot and straight into the arms of Lee Dale.
Yeah, just lazy, wasn't it, from Stallard? Should have gone on his right foot and kicked it along his boundary line and defended more intently, but this gives the boy from Yakandanda a chance from 35 out.
And Lee Dale just leans back on it, and just 1 point is the result. So a let-off of sorts there for Redland with the bad turnover. The margin at 4 points now. Played some 6.5 minutes of this third quarter. Yagmore straight down the middle. Clay Cameron. It's a lovely mark over Brody Murdoch, no less. And that's another good set of mitts shown on that occasion by the young man in Jack Ratton. The boy from Cooperoo. Little ball out to Adrian Williams. This is where they've just been held up, allowing the Southport defence to get back. Launched long. Fly for it by Southport. They can't take the mark though. Ratton again. I thought he had enough of that. Umpire says no. On there. It was Williams to Mills. Dangerous spot. And just out pointing Hamilman on that occasion was Reece Clark. And his kick just wasn't quite hitting the target. Must be something about Sunday football. The lazy day, just not quite doing the right thing. Trent Stubbs coming off, is it? Or Mackenzie Willis even? Yep,
Mackenzie Willis. So they're walking wounded at the moment. Southport, they're in a bit of trouble.
All back into play. That was Williams for Southport. Chain of hands. Doran got it from Keel. Fields, he's dragged down without the ball. It was almost a professional free kick there from Yagmore because they were just about away. So Mitch Johnson just kicked into the man on the mark and too close to the man on the mark there, Mitch Johnson.
Had a forgettable day, hasn't he, at this stage, Mitch? But he's the sort of player that give him one or two chances around goal and he'll hurt you. So, but Yagmore been right on top there.
And he has. Mills and Turner. No clear winner there. Plenty of players around the contest. Lee Dale being one. Cunnington and Billy Johnson. And they got it down. And they find Keneally. Keneally just lobs it up. One-on-one contest. Hamilman Just coming back to help there was the opposite number 8 and Seb Tape. And spored the ball through. Out to 5 points the margin. And we've got a little bit of to do in the middle of the ground. And it looks like Adrian Williams, who has put Hayden Keel on the deck. At least the Southport players went to Adrian Williams. So Keel gets the free kick, advanced the ball to the middle of the ground. Clark went to Reese, went to Tape, and they've just about butchered this again. Fleming just taps it back into the path of Cunnington. They feed it back. McGannon copped a high one, so he'll win the free kick. And they just look a bit dishevelled, Southport, here at the moment.
Yeah, and full marks to Redland. All the young blokes are putting a hand up and really attacking hard.
McGannon got it in long, and Hamilman. And I got a little bit of to do here again, and a little bit of angst off the ball has seen the ball turned over. So that's a little bit of ill discipline. I know they're trying to exert a bit of authority, doing it the wrong way and giving up opportunities. Clements now. And the kick that the ball was turned over up towards Josh Hall. Spoiled away from him by Stallard. Salter comes through. Miller does well, although he handballs it to Manteet. 1-on-1 contest. Ground level. Mitch Johnson Dale coming through there as well. Off the ground, was it? If it was, it hit the post anyway. So only 1 point. Cars. He got the kick in. Gives the ball over. That's an advantage free kick down the ground as they tried to clean Cars up after he got rid of the handball. So a little bit of angst creeping in from both sides. Unable to take the mark there was Cormick. Damien Stephen in under. Walsh has his kick smothered, then gets the handball off. Billy Johnson, quick kick. And off to Hamilman, who ran onto it nicely. Now watch their P's and Q's here in the back of the ground so they don't give up another opportunity.
Kanga, I think that free kick that was given was by the umpire, unofficiating umpire down this end. As Hamilman
kicks a goal. That's 3 for Matt Hamilman. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and now 1 in the third.
Yeah, I think just going back to that, when Hamilman used his body there, I think the 2 umpires down this end said it was okay. And the 3rd umpire up this end, it was a long, long way away, said it was pushing the back.
Right, okay, so it wasn't an off-the-ball free kick, it was an off-the-ball umpiring decision.
Yeah, which was strange from a long, long way away. But anyway, as it goes, ended up back with Hamilman. He's kicked the goal anyway, so there you go. But great effort from Redland. They're really relishing the contest now.
So 10 points the margin their lead is now. So the home side putting the more fancy Sharks a little bit to the sword and under immense pressure. Fife comes through, can't take it with him. Franks attacks the ball, so does Fleming. It's a little quick one. Tape can't take it. Just giving it off is Jordan Taylor. Under enormous pressure, they turn the ball over. Franks had his kick smothered. They're just hanging on here, Southport, at the moment. Boston kicks it high, kicks it wide. Does it stay in? It just bounces inside the line. And we'll have a throw in.
Yeah, even their solid structure down back looks a bit dishevelled at the moment. There's Jordan Taylor pointing and telling his ruckman to go back out and do the ruck work. They're all at 6s and 7s right at this present. There you go.
So there's a free kick off the ball here too. Go the way of Craig Malone. Gives it off. Adrian Williams. And Jordan Taylor just saves the day down back. Little ball finds Mackenzie Willis. Good to see him back on the field. Goes wide again. Turner with the spoil. Fife at ground level. Comes away with it nicely. Good crumbing. And Yagmore, just a little bit taller than Charlie Ford and Mitch Johnson. And he's been solid back there for the most part, Peter Yagmore. Is it to Stallard? That's the kick that's a worry, this one. And Batoli Simmons. He just ball sat up and allowed Fife to really impact the contest, but Batty Simmons just stood under it nicely. Took the contact. Batty Simmons goes out wide. Looking for the young man there in Ratton. The ball spills out and over the boundary line. So 10 points is the margin. We've played 14 and a half minutes of this third quarter. Here at Scottsdale Park, 6-7-43 to 4-9-33. Malone hits it to the middle of the ground. Bowie was there, couldn't take it. Kyle Walsh just inserts himself into the play there. Hall handballs it out, but only found Stallard. Miller, now to Damien Stephen. Gives a wide one. Salter. Just a little kick forward and finds Fife. Starting to get in a bit more involved here. Fife, and it's in the protected zone there, so he'll get a 50-metre penalty. It was his 8th possession coming up, Dylan Fife. Chips it up, looking for Stubbs back on the ground. Redland defence, can they mop this one up? Adrian Williams gets it away, only just off the knee, so play on. Stallard gives the ball up. Bowie only kicks it back to Adrian Williams. A bit of forcing backs almost. Cunnington with the one hand. Boston feeds it back to Keel. Tries to break through the tackle, can't do so. Handballs it off, looking for Williams. And he just turns it over, so Salter gives Redland an opportunity. Unfortunately, they're just messing around with it here. Ratton, his handball just didn't hit a target. Stephen hits one. Now to Salter. Up forward. And I'll tell you what, it's not a massive fly, but that is great skill by Reece Clark to take a one-hander.
Yeah, that's World Cup first slip job, that one. That was at full stretch with the left mid out. And Steve Smith would be happy with that one at first slip.
Doran was the man on the outer side who took the mark / got paid the free kick. Now Mackenzie Willis just still deep in the back half, and they're just a little bit stagnant here all of a sudden. I'll try and open it up. Tyler Roos provides the run. Gives it off. Jordan Taylor measures one. Does it nicely to Dylan Fife. And he goes on the left. Stubbs. And right there with him was Harrison Hunkin. Just planted the ball on the roof of the social club, much to the applause of the Redland faithful.
Well, full credit to Redland's defence. They were 3-3, I would say, 15 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah,
well, they were
right.
3 goals something, and they've kicked 1 goal since. So that's 2.5 quarters of footy. The Redland defence really hanging in well.
All right, 18 points up at the 11-minute mark of the first quarter. Southport. Keel and Hall had his kick smothered. Yagmore back to Milligram. Big contest and wonderful commitment shown by players, not least of which was Mackenzie Willis, but coming up was Jai Keneally. Well done. The boy from Springwood in the Lions Academy puts it right to the 50. Taylor was there, brought it to ground. They'll come away here, Southport. Little chipping ball from Boston finds Mackenzie Willis.
He copped a corky in that marking contest. He's trying to get off the ground. He's been hit up with the mark.
Ruse just takes a nice mark, just turned around and just gave an option. Mackenzie Willis going off the ground again. And Ruse goes back to Brodie Murdoch. Gives it to Boston. Boston goes out wide. Finds Doran. And just closing down the space quickly was Tom Salter. And wider. Well done there. Lee Dale. Was it to Reece Clark? Williams was involved back there as well. Stubbs, ball punched away from him by Hunkin at ground level. That was forward. Adrian Williams was there for Redland. And coming through was Miller. So he can mop up, or can he? Under pressure. Yagmore. Now to Damien Stephen. Gives it off to Miller. Under pressure all of a sudden, so he doesn't get a real effective kick away. Doran just sits the ball up into space. McGannon with the spoil. Yagmore just says, get this out of here, and he does it well. Does it very well. Sol Cormick takes a mark in the middle of the ground. Keneally. Murdoch right with him. A little bit of space. The punch came from Williams. I had the numbers here. Jed Turner, like a good ruckman, pushes back and helps out. Williams to Boston. And his kick just stays inside the field of play and finds Ethan Reeves. Ford now. There's the Keel. They're just building. What can they muster? And he just calls in Mitch Johnson. And as you mentioned before, Bob, we haven't seen much of him, but we know he can burst to life when the occasion's right.
Yeah, look, the Peter Yagmore's won that duel hands down, but as we said, he only needs a couple of opportunities. He can hurt you on the scoreboard. This is a tough kick, though. 45 he'll probably kick from. And the bruise into his face a little bit.
It's just the 3 possessions today for Mitch Johnson. No, hasn't hit the scoreboard yet. And just sits it up on the breeze. It's coming back, but not enough. So 1 point, margin back to 9 as Redland bring it back in reasonably quickly. Both sides have had opportunities in this quarter, but Redland you'd suggest, have had the better of it. Batoli Simmons finds Fleming on the second grab. And 50 metres for Fleming. And Mutu, not happy. Fair to say.
Got a mature head on his shoulders, this kid, isn't he? For his first game, he has looked very dangerous when he's attacked the footy. And he certainly hasn't looked out of place at NEAFL level.
It's his 8th disposal. 2 goals, of course. Puts it down deep, coming across the pack. I thought Tate might have just held on to it. Clark has to lay the tackle for Southport. Pressure around the ball. Pressure around the contest. This ball up. All of a sudden you suspect that if Redland kick another one here, the tails right up and be tough to catch. Ball in dispute. Dale there comes away with it. Just coughing it up there was the Southport defence. Salter can't take advantage, and that was Ethan Reeves. Just, I swear, a little bit of butter on the ball or his fingers.
Yeah, he looks a little bit out of touch, Ethan, doesn't he? Didn't hardly put a foot wrong last year, but hasn't had a great game today in his first game back.
A couple of possessions there for Roos and also McKenzie, and a little bullet-like pass finds Michael Mantee. Roos up to 26. And Williams went up high, couldn't take it with him. Now he's got it at ground level, trying to fight off Hayden Keel. That's the quick kick away. And only managed to kick it out of bounds on the full, which is not a bad result, really, if you're going to give it up. The defence can reset. Keel goes down the line. Stubbs and turn to the targets. Miller can't take it. Cars just shuffles it out almost. Hunkin, indiscriminate handball. Just gives Mackenzie Willis a chance. He gets it off to Fife. He gets a quick kick away, but nobody home for Southport on that occasion as Mitch Stellard just mops it up. Just a little bit of uncertainty creeping in, and that's not a good kick from Redland if they're going to just keep the ball going their way. Well done by Salter. Found the footy and put a bit of toe there. Fleming just juggles that one. Franks now back to Salter, who keeps on running. A running machine. The ball inside. It's to Damien Stephen. Comes out wide. Hunkin gives it to Batoli Simmons. He can shoot for goal and just to the near side. That would have been a good goal, a good build-up. Need the execution right.
Again, the young players involved for Redland. They're standing up in a big contest against the reigning premiers, and they've come to play, haven't they? And full credit to Redland.
10 points the margin once again. Over the top of Yagmore and Bowie. Ball back inside forward 50 though for Redland. Fleming couldn't handle it. Kick from Billy Johnson. Touched off the boot.
Wow, that's two of those.
Yeah, I must admit I've been caught a few times, but I saw the goal umpire go up pretty quick with the hands. And I'm glad I had a look at him because could have been a really crucial goal. Jordan Taylor brings it down. Damien Stevens spoils. Damien Stevens threw it out. The umpires picked that one up. The margin 11 points. Tom Fields will be the man that takes the free kick.
Very important 3 or 4 minutes here, Kanga. Southport really struggling up forward and don't look like kicking one. And Redland, if they get another one, as you said, they'll go in with their tails right up.
Boston, this little short one. He wasn't asked to play on yet. The umpire had given him a warning, so he gets 50 metres. So we've seen a few of those today. A little bit of ill discipline. So Boston. And just tests the metal of the umpire there to where the mark is, just to see where he could go. And that was a good 50 in the finish, considering where he came from.
Yeah, wouldn't want to buy real estate off that.
No, I wouldn't want to buy real estate off him, to be honest, Bob. I reckon that was more like 60 or 70.
Oh, well. Dollar for dollar.
This puts him within range for mine. He's generally a beautiful kick of the football, Andrew Boston. Gives it everything he has. It's going to get right to the line. And spoiled there by Stephen Mills. So 1 point brings the margin back to 10. Double figures. Yagmore. Let's see what he does here, whether he goes short. He's got Williams in the pocket. He's going to just go long. And he is going to go long. Hamilman got hands on it. Boyd Bailey gets a kick forward. Batoli Simmons can run onto it. Really wanted that one to stay in, you'd suspect, because there was a lot of room in front of him. Game on a bit of a knife's edge, Bob.
Yeah, certainly is, and full credit to Redland. They've since quarter time they've really lifted, haven't they? And Southport are just trying to really set up as they go forward, but haven't looked dangerous at all.
Cars just sharks the clearance. Bailey and Mutu entangled, and a free kick going to Bailey. And rightly so, it was the umpire off the ball, but it was the correct decision because Mutu had Bailey above the shoulder. Loads up on the left. And Southport had the numbers back there. It was Mackenzie Willis who takes the saving mark.
Just got to lower their vision going inside 50 there, Redland. They've had a number of opportunities of hitting up shorter targets and missed them.
Well, it was a 1-goal third quarter. So 1 goal and 9 points cumulatively for both sides. And the 1 goal went the way of Redlands. They kicked 1-5 to 4 behinds. It extended the half-time margin from 3 points out to 10 points. The reigning premiers, Southport, they're under enormous pressure. Full credit goes to Redlands for really applying that pressure, and it sets us up for a very big last quarter. Bob, how did you see that quarter, and how do you see this panning out in the last quarter?
Yeah, well, look, we said at half-time, can Redlands sustain that pressure that they applied in the second? Well, the answer so far is yes, and a double yes. They've really come to play in this third quarter. They look inspired. Their youngsters are putting their hand up and don't look out of place. And Southport are starting to doubt themselves a little bit. I think initially they thought that they could really put the accelerator down and sort of kick a 3 or 4 in that quarter and get away, but they haven't looked like bothering the scorers in that quarter. And I don't know where they're going to get their lift from, Southport, at the moment. Their more experienced players are getting enough of the footy, but they're just not setting up structure-wise up forward. So, look, Redland have to go in with their tails up and thinking they've got a red-hot chance here in this last quarter.
Well, they've had the lion's share of the football, Southport, 273 disposals to 226 and 85 marks to 67. Inside 50s, Redland are just in front, 36 to 34. Hit-outs 35 to 23, and leading possession getters. Just quickly, we'll have a break in just a moment. Tyler Roos has had 26 for Southport. Reece Clark is at 18, along with Mackenzie Willis and Andrew Boston. Michael Manteet was 16, while for Redlands, Adrian Williams in his 100th NEAFL game today, 19 disposals, 10 marks. Been very good down back. Damien Stevens had 16 disposals. Craig Malone's had 13. And McGannon and also Batty Simmons had a dozen each. Interesting times at the huddles. Interesting times here at Scottsdale Park. And we'll be back on NEAFL TV, thanks to our broadcast partner Bar TV, after the break to see what this game brings and who will come out on top. Will it be Southport, who need to fight and lift, or the home side with their tails up, the Redland Bombers? We're set up here for a big last quarter in this round 8 clash at Scottsdale Park, the home of the Redland Bombers. It is the Bombers by 10 points at three-quarter time. They lead the Southport Sharks 6-9-45 to Southport 4-11-35. Mark Kennedy joined by Bob Batty. This will be a big upset if Redland can hold on, Bob.
Yeah, no, it'll be a sort of a win for the ages for the Redland locals. They've been waiting for a long time to get a win against Southport, and can it be this afternoon? They've put themselves in a situation where they may get the chocolates.
We're underway here. Malone gets it down and then taps it, hopefully into the path of a teammate, not to be. Reeves gets it away, but Damien Stephen intercepts. Salter run down by Timikai Bowie. And Southport come away with it. Go to half forward. Fields is there. Adrian Williams, and that's against Williams, I would suspect. And he was holding Fields, so pretty elementary free kick for mine.
This is not outside his range, you know. He can kick it 50-55. With the accuracy, it's a thing from Tom Fields.
Certainly shaping up like it, isn't he? Setting himself. Will this be the big lifter that Southport are really looking for? Very deliberate approach. He's going to have to kick it from the best part of 60 metres. He gives it plenty. That's a bomb.
Here's a beautiful
Tom Fields. Kick. Amazing, Bob Batty.
Yeah, that's a beautiful kick. That was all 60 metres. It went through by 5, and he was probably 55 when he kicked it. So a beautiful goal, and could be a team lifter for the Southport Sharks. They need something, and yeah, look, he's always had a beautiful left foot kick on him, and that was a ripper. Him and Yagmore, you'd love to see him in a kick-off, going kick to kick from full back, bombing it into the middle.
Hard to believe, but that is just the 5th goal for the afternoon for Southport, who's usually such a free-flowing, heavy-scoring side. They've been well held to this point. That puts the margin back to just 4 points early in this last quarter. We're underway again. Fife, wrapped up by Walsh. We're going to do it all again.
Yeah, they haven't let the contest get out with their spread from the contest, have they, Redland? They've held it in very well today.
And through is Reeves, gets a handball away. That was Williams with the ball for Southport. Going back with the flight of the ball. Very courageous by Miller. He's already been in the wars today. Once. Reeves has got it again. Just puts it inside forward 50. And the fist came from Stallard. So 4 points in favour of Redland. Underway again. Mills just gets it out of the congestion near the boundary line. Takes an awkward bounce. Right near there, and happy to take it out on this occasion.
Sol Cormick, one of the players that really need a little bit of a lift around the packs in this last quarter, Redland.
Salter under pressure, just gets a kick away. There's that man Cormick you just spoke about. Southport now come away with it. The kick was from Mantee to the contest. Timikai Bowie gets it off. Now to Williams, inside forward 50, can't find a target. Fields again. It's in there, Williams right with him. Clements feeds the ball out, thought he was giving it to a teammate, instead gave it straight to Hayden Batoli-Simmons. Does it stay in? Yes, it does just, but punched out of bounds very easily. So we'll have the throw in again. A bit of trouble with my champion data stats here. I was just looking for a few numbers. Not working for me. Cormick, the man you talked about, Bob, came through, kicked the ball up high. Modoc's there, just judged it well in the breeze. And down as the afternoon sunshine here at Scottsdale Park rains down. Murdoch goes long, looking for a target through the hands of Adrian Williams. Just ripped off the ball was Fields. Ball comes outside 50, but Ruse is there waiting for it. Comes off the side of the boot, that one. And very harmlessly over the line.
Starting to find their footy around the packs now, though, Southport, aren't they? As you said, they've had a lot of possession, but haven't used it well. That was an example there with Tyler just kicking the ball haphazardly, but they're looking a bit more dangerous at ground level early in this last.
Ball thrown back into play. Mills in the ruck, just feeling for the ball. Miller goes hard at it. Turner's right there to wrestle him as soon as he picked the ball up. Umpire steps in. He'll throw this up. Tension mounting. Turner hits it out to the boundary line. Ruse was there waiting, and then it's coming across and floating with Stubbs. Haven't seen much of him since that first quarter when he kicked a couple of goals. And here he is bobbing up in the last to potentially give Southport a lead.
Yeah, lovely centering kick from Tyler Ruse that time. That was exactly where you wanted to put it. Danger spot.
So Stubbs comes in directly in front, and Southport hit back in the lead. And all of a sudden, they are 2 points ahead after Redland looked like they really had the momentum. Where do the doubts start and stop in this game, Bob, for both sides?
Yeah, look, let's just see what happens around the footy here for Redland at this centre bounce. Tiny will probably get his hand on it. It's you've got Kyle Walsh, Phil Cass. Who's the next one in? Kel Franks. They need to get this clearance. Ruse and Boston and Pfeiffer really starting to get on top, and Lee Dahl is another one around the packs winning a little bit for Southport.
So we've played some 6.5 odd minutes of this last quarter. Ball bounces twice down there. Turner just skirts around one, kicks it inside forward 50. Mitch Johnson runs onto it, gives the handball over the top, almost looking for himself in the finish. I think Clements at ground level. Ball comes out and then goes back in. Some solid tackling going on. Fields looking for the miracle, wasn't there. Ball rolls over harmlessly in the finish. Not a bad result for Southport.
Yeah, another centre clearance. Jed Turner getting that one. So at ground level, working just as hard ground level as he is against Big Tiny.
So the theatre just really kicking in here. Malone gets a hit out. Boston. And Boston, just tackler rolls over the top of him. That was Phil Cars, the playing coach of Redland. He'll be urging his players, and suggesting the theme was 120 minutes today, as in making sure they played the full game out, not fits and starts. Just need to keep going here, the Bombers. Got it camped in their defence. Miller is wrapped up by Dale and also forward. Going nowhere. 6-11 Southport playing Redland 6-9. Free kick. And it'll go the way of Southport for a ruck infringement.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Been a few of those that have gone Redland's way throughout the day, but this one's gone to Jed Turner. He'll be saying, well, it's about time I got one, and this is within his range. He's not a likely goal kicker, but this would really hurt if he put this through.
So Turner, 45-degree angle, 40 metres out, just to the near side.
Tiny breathes a sigh of relief there. That would have been a dagger to the heart of Redland, but what can they do here now? They really need to get some structure up forward here and start looking for Hamilman and Cameron.
3 points the margin in favour of Southport. That was looking for Cameron right there. Running onto it is McGann and does well, keeps his feet, gives the ball off. Well done. Finds Ratton, who in turn with a teammate. They get to Cormick. Now to Bailey. Good smother there by Turner, who worked back off the ground. Went Bailey up to Hamilman, trying to get rid of a player. Has to feed the ball back. Doesn't quite get enough purchase on the ball with his fist to get it back towards Salter. And now the ball tied up. Well done there by Matt Doran.
Yeah, good work from the Southport defence. That was a great smother. Boyd Bailey looked like he was through.
Turner. It's a Salter, feeds it back. Hunkin. Touch ball for mine. Umpire agrees. Ball at ground level now anyway. Reeves wrapped up. Ball going nowhere, so plenty of stoppages. Players starting, you can see the players actually starting to get a little bit more tired. Less spring in the step, as you can appreciate. A clear winner of the ruck contest there. Tape in and under, as you'd expect. We'll have another stop.
Good work from McGannon, wasn't it, to really get that run and carry from the back half. That's what they need. They need some run, carry and get in quickly.
Malone. Tape there. Free kick. And it'll go for a high fend-off. So it'll go the way of Redlands. And the groans of the Redland faithful until they realised that it was actually going their way.
It's a tough game to umpire, isn't it, this game of AFL footy?
So Kyle Walsh, solid contributor, kicks it right from 50. It's on line. Does it have the legs? No. Game of inches.
This might have needed someone there like Hamilman or Cameron or someone up there to do a shepherd.
Well, they got it coming here again. And that's Billy Johnson getting the ball inside forward 50 and finding Boyd Bailey. And a couple of players really lift again, just when you thought the momentum had really swung Southport's way. Bit of steel being shown by the Bombers.
Yeah, well, as you say, they're looking for 120 minutes. Well, the first 5 of this quarter they were down, but they're fighting their way back and clawing their way in. But they need this one from Boyd Bailey.
On the favoured left foot, Boyd Bailey hoists it. Goes across the face, so the margin, 1 point. Approaching 12 minutes of this last quarter. Looks like we're set up for a tight one unless the side can kick a couple of goals in quick succession. Tyler Roos coming up for possession number 29. Looking for a target. Adrian Williams just takes a chest mark. Batoli Simmons just shepherded him off the ball. Just puts it back inside forward 50. Big pack coming down with it, Boyd Bailey. I thought for a moment it was touched in the contest, but the umpire does not agree with me, and my opinion doesn't count. And that's just as well, for Redland's sake at least.
Floated across the front of the pack, didn't he? Lovely mark. That's a couple of opportunities he had so far in this quarter. Can he put the Redland faithful in front?
He had a shot, albeit from a different angle just before, and missed it. And swinging at the end, but stays in. A little bit of discussion. Southport players thinking it might have clipped the goalpost. Not from where I could see, Bob. Any thoughts?
No, my eyes aren't that flash these years, Kanga, but I would have given it a goal.
Well, the players have clearly won the day in terms of where things sit. So scores level. And Southport, they run away with it. Williams down the wing. It's it up to Mitch Johnson. Hoists it high. Looking for a marking target. At the back there was Turner. Mills, he's wrapped up there by Keel. And we'll have a ball up.
It's one thing they've done well, Redland, when they've been tackled. They've at least held the ball in today. It hasn't spurted out and caused a crumb and given Southport a snap at goal.
One underway again. Johnson on hands and knees, tackled. So Southport, and he's going to be penalised here, Mitch Johnson. No attempt. Damien Stephen gets up with the ball. Mitch Johnson, fair to say. And his million Instagram followers, might be an over-exaggeration, they won't be happy. A very quiet day, Mitch Johnson. One behind to his name. Well done there, well judged by Manteet. The kick did not look good off the boot. Just swung off it, that left foot, and Damien Stephen just stood under it and took a nice mark.
Yeah, showing his experience, Damien Stephen. He's had 7 or 8 years here at Redland, and I don't think he's had many victories against Southport. He'd be really stretching to try and get him home here.
A couple of chipping balls, the last one finding Clay Cameron. Looked to feed inside, but goes himself. Pumps the ball deep inside forward 50 and just taking a nice mark there. It was a Shepherd on the ball. Shepherd on the marking contest. Goes against Dylan Mutu. Manteet took the mark, and that man, Boyd Bailey, will come up for his third shot in just about 3 minutes. The last two his kick points he needs to convert here.
He certainly does, yeah. It looked home that last one, but managed to clip the post. So let's see what he can do here. He's had one smothered as well from 45 out.
On the left foot, stabs at it and misses. They take the lead, Redland, albeit by the narrowest of margins. 1 point it is. Clark brings it in, little chipping ball. That might come back to haunt them yet, Bob.
Yeah, well, that's 3 opportunities he's had of kicking goals and missed them all. So
Southport come away. Manteet down the line. Good pass. Finds Clements. Clements looking for Mitch Johnson. The ball goes over the back. They've got numbers here. Does it stay in? Yes, it does. How are they going to work this? Goes to Stubbs. He kicks a goal. Heartbreaking stuff for the Bombers. Elation for the Sharks.
yeah, 4th goal for Trent Stubbs. He's been a good player for him. He's been a little bit hot and cold. Very hot in the first quarter and dangerous in this last. But yeah, good mark there from Manteet, I think it was, on this side, and quickly moved it on. That's the key. Get the ball down quickly, and Mitch Johnson managed to get the ball to the ground and get the ball over, and a good snap there from Stubbs. So that's giving them a bit of a sniff now, Southport. What can Redland do? They've had chances and missed. How's their confidence levels? Can they rise again?
They're 5 points adrift. A little over 17 minutes gone of this last quarter. Southport have kicked 3 goals in this last quarter to drag themselves along into the lead. Cars off the ground. Walsh just pats it into the path of Batoli. Simmons gets it across. Nobody there for Redland at the moment. Dylan Mutu for Southport to Doran. Can't quite handle it on the first occasion, but gets back on it. His handball's smothered. So the pressure coming. Keneally, he applies it. And between Williams and also Mutu, they got out of trouble, but albeit just temporarily. Now, Bowie gives it across. Manteet, deep. Hall couldn't take the mark, but tapped it into the path of Clements, and they just about butchered that one, you'd suggest. And the margin back at 1 straight goal. They're looking for a bit of the slingshot play here. Redland. Fleming, chipping ball. 2 youngsters combining, Fleming and Ratton. Got the corridor open. Cunnington through the middle of Scottsdale Park, looking for a target. Bailey's there. Hamilman was coming. Clay Cameron's there. Handball over the top. They've got opportunity now. Miller, Keneally, goal! No. Touch. I thought for a moment it was a certain goal, but not to be.
Hearts in the hands here. They've had 4 or 5 opportunities and haven't managed to split the middle. But yeah, good football. They've moved it quickly. The youngsters again involved.
Boston looking to repel the 100-gamer, Adrian Williams. Very good. That's mark number 12 for him for the day. Inside forward 50 yet again, over the back of the pack. Bailey just ricocheted off his foot. Damien Stephen. Miller, now back to Stephen, a little bit of open space, puts it to the top of the square, at the back of the pack, or going up there was Bailey. Southport, and that was Willis, smothered by Jack Ratton. Keeps the ball close to goal, deep inside forward 50.
Yeah, that's the percentage play from Jack Ratton. That was very good for a youngster. Young teenager that's really showed a little bit today for the Redland Bombers.
19 years of age, Jack Ratton. Turner got the ball down. Fife applies a tackle. That was on Kyle Walsh, and plenty of players around the contest. Desperation times. Plenty of nerves starting to develop, no doubt, as we get towards the crescendo of the game. Plenty of players at ground level here. It's almost become a bit of a ruck and maul.
Yeah, who's going to give the dash from outside the outside space here for Redland? Sol Cormack's looking for a bit of space there. Can he wriggle his way free?
Malone just hits it into space. Who's going to run onto it? Miller was there. Ford ripped off it. Clements finds a little bit of space. Bowie up and under. Fields there. Also Adrian Williams. Just keeps it in. Just runs straight into Hall. And Hall wins the free kick because Adrian Williams dragged him down a bit too high. That was there.
He doesn't know it's his.
I'm surprised he didn't know it was his because Adrian Williams was certainly
but the
and
bear
clearly
hug
gave the free kick away. Gives the handball over. Fields. Siddle up. In deep. Ruse. Just got the one arm to it. Turner feeds the ball forward. Who's going to run onto it? Might be Ruse. They're there. They just about raffle it. And it's touched. Or rushed even over the line. Might have been Yagmore.
Yeah, no, played a great game today, Peter Yagmore. He's been resolute down back for Redland.
Salter and Batoli Simmons combine. Keneally. Ball already up on the wing, so they're testing the running capability of Southport here to push back in defence. Good run there from Batoli Simmons again.
Just got to go and get it in there quick.
Just looking into the sun there. Now he's asked to go. Little chipping ball. Hits the deck. So play on's the call. Keneally just lays the tackle. Might be on Michael Manteet. Or is it Ethan Reeves getting up there? In fact, it's Brody Murdoch. I knew there was a 4 in there somewhere, the number. Malone looking for Batoli Simmons. Has his kick smothered. That's Manteet that got involved there, though. Hall. Salter. Just gives it up to Charlie Ford, but he loses it. Salter sits just in tight, and that's holding the ball. Didn't dispose of it properly, and winning the free kick will be Josh Williams.
He was just bouncing around like a pinball machine there, Tommy Salter. He just needed to get it either handball out or onto his foot quicker, but unfortunately couldn't do that. This is an important couple of minutes, isn't it? Southport get another goal. You think it might be a bridge too far, but Redland's still with a sniff.
Williams goes long for Southport. A free kick on the ruck and the marking contest will go the way of the mailman. What can he deliver? Big Malone, and that's 50. We've seen a few today, and some of them have just been ill-disciplined. So Malone, he's looking to give the ball off with a handball. Stallard. And that kick's not a good one. It only finds Josh Hall. That's a waste.
His kicking's let him down today, Mitch Stallard. 3 or 4 times he's kicked the ball and put it straight to a Southport player. Needs to improve that.
Jordan Taylor has it there. Mutu. Just chipped the ball away. Josh Williams now. Clay Cameron stands the mark. Mutu just makes space for him. Gets on the end of that one. Hamilman guards the mark. Happy to just chew a bit of time as Hall gets involved there. Now Hall goes long. One-on-one contest. Bailey and Franks it was. Well on there by Turner. The big man gets involved. Just launches that left foot down deep. Johnson's there. He's got it at the back. What can he do? Williams just works him off the ball nicely. That's Adrian Williams. Played a great 100th game. Fleming does well in his debut game. Outpointed on that occasion by a more experienced Ethan Reeves. Ball just comes out. Upended there was Stubbs. Going in there was Willis. Ruse just takes a pot shot at goal and the 1 point. Might be a decisive point. Margin out to 7.
Yeah, need the next goal, Redland. Be out of their reach if Southport get it, so they've got to go direct.
Just need the next score. Put it within a kick. Either way. Malone, a couple of fists at it. Johnson, Franks, Ratton, Taylor. Now Boston launches it down forward. They'll be happy if it goes out here. And you've got to say that if Redland went to go down here, they've been their own worst enemy, particularly in front of goal. We saw a couple of bad misses in the second quarter. And we've seen some absolute shockers in this last quarter.
Yeah, they've had 5 shots at goal that could have easily been goals, and they've had a couple touched on the line. So it's if it gets away from them, they're their own worst enemy.
Just 4 goals kicked in the second half. In near perfect conditions. Ruse tries to emerge with the ball. Just gets a kick away. Boston punches it forward. Yagmore goes around the corner. Which way is it going to bounce? Just over the boundary line. 26 minutes gone.
Might be a long quarter either. Kangaroo, how many goals? 3 goals, is it?
3 goals. Collectively 3 goals, 9. So there has been a bit of time there from that perspective. We're going through for scores. Ball into play. Short throw. And we'll have another throw in. Players will reset.
Everyone looks dog-tired. It's been a real arm wrestle, and a game that's played in close all day. No space for anyone.
Ball into play this time. Malone. Franks gets it forward. Bounces over the top of a couple. And that looked like in the back. Umpire says yes, so Mitch McGannon will be the beneficiary. Gives it to Yagmore in the middle of the ground. Just didn't quite affect him. So a free kick, or in fact it was 50. Can't quite pick up what that one was for. Inside the protected area. Ball not returned properly. So this gives the youngster from Fish Creek, Matthew McGannon, former Gippsland Power boy, the opportunity to put it very much back within reach, but he needs to kick truly. And it sneaks in for a point. Anticlimax.
Yeah, they haven't kicked well for goal, have they? That was, if it had been the hands of Peter Yagmore, you would have just about laid down, said it was going to be a goal.
Miller drops what he should have taken upon the restart from Brodie Murdoch. Ball around the corner. Just there is Fields. Touched off the boot, so play on is the call. Just launches it down to half forward. Mills is there. Hot pursuit there is also Keel. Numbers are right. Ford lends in, comes in to lend a hand, but Mills does well to disguise it and get it out of bounds.
Been much better defensively today, Stephen Mills. He's played his role back there and been a pinch hitter in the ruck. He's been a good contributor for Redland today.
Coming down to the concluding minutes of this game. Redland need a goal. Put it within reach. Any score for Southport, you'd suggest, might just about finish it. And that's out of bounds on the full, which is probably a good result for Redland because they might be able to try and mount an attack. A goal would tie this game up. Any score from Southport would just about put it out of reach.
Been tireless today, Adrian Williams, hasn't he? No wonder he's won 2 Dowling medals in a row. He's certainly having another very consistent season.
9 rebound 50s, 4 inside 50s, 12 marks, 23 disposals. It's not a bad kick at all. That was Damien Stephen. Gets it off the Cars. You have to try and take a bit of a chance here. Moving it quickly. Half forward it is. Fleming Just couldn't take it. Hall's there. And that kick's not a good one, out of bounds on the full, so Cunnington's got a chance to really try and launch it. In fact, he had to give the ball off to Phil Cars. He just puts it in quickly. Mills is there, had front spot. Clay Cameron had his kick smothered. Franks, he was caught high, was he?
Yep.
Yes, he was.
Too far out, though. They've got to free up Hamilman or Cameron here on the lead, or give it to Yagmore.
And umpire says time on, and he'll come back. He was still lining him up, so tried to look for that man, Yagmore. Southport were right on it, though. They knew what was going on. Franks. Dowdy's got the journey. Puts it right down deep, though. And punched out of bounds. Hits the behind post, so...
Chance again.
Chance again. They probably would have preferred a score to set them up for the win. They need a goal to get them back level. 30 and a half, or more than 30 and a half minutes gone to this last quarter. Siren can't be far away here at Scottsdale Park. It's a thriller. Clark gets it off to Yagmore.
He's going to have a shot.
He's just pointed for home. He's going to have to kick it the best part of 60 metres. Puts it down deep. Big pack. Hall. They keep it in. Southport. Johnson's under it. And Mitch Johnson. And you'd suggest that is just about it. It is. Southport win this round 8 clash. It was a bruising, intense encounter all day. Players are out on their feet. And the Sharks prevail in a nail-biter. 7-15-57 to Redland. 6-15-51. It was heartbreaking stuff on one end, Bob, and it was an exhilarating win. Exasperating in a lot of ways also. Yeah,
look, it was one that got away for Redland. I think they've played their 4 quarters, as Phil Carse has asked them to. Prior to the game to really have a red-hot crack. They've done that, but they've fallen short. And I think it was just those shots at goal as we look back up into the square up there. Someone down, is it?
Yeah, it is, and it's Josh Hall. So I suspect it might... Look, he's up and he's not up, but he's certainly got his eyes open, and I think it might have been a bit of a head knock in that last pack contest that he's struggling with, to be honestly.
But yeah, look, what a game it was. It was we looked at it at first quarter. It looked like it was going to be all Southport, didn't it? 3 goals on the board. Redland looked as though they hadn't even come out to play, but they really stuck strong from probably 15 minutes into that first quarter. They started to get their game together, worked hard. I must congratulate Malone again. He was tireless in the ruck. And look, his opponent was quite good too, Jed Turner. He kept on trying. But look, for the winners... when they needed to put their hand up, their senior players, Manteet, Boston, Mackenzie Willis, Reece Clark. I thought Josh Williams played a good game. Trent Stubbs with 4 goals, and Tyler Roos was tireless in the midfield. And they kept them going all day. And for the home team, Peter Yagmore was very good down back, I thought. Hayden Patoli-Simmons tried hard. Malone was good, as we mentioned. Jack Ratton I liked. I liked Daniel Fleming, their youngsters. I thought Billy Johnson worked hard, and especially Caleb Franks. He's really coming of age as a midfielder for the Redland side. So, look, they've got some positives out of the game. They didn't get the 4 points, and certainly Redland will be disappointed they didn't get that, but they certainly flew the flag here at Scottsdale Park for all their supporters. Failed by 6 points.
Just some quick stats. I mean, Josh Hall's still down there and being tended to by the medical team. And I see Dr. Alan McKenzie out there, walked out to have a bit of a look at him as well. He's might be just about ready to get to his feet, which is a good sign. But just some of the numbers before we finish off. 342 possessions to 287. Southport's way. Marks 102 to 86. Southport's way. Hit-outs 46 to 32. And that went Redland's way on the back of 43 hit-outs from Craig Malone. And then inside 50s was 49 to 46 Southport's way. So a lot of even stats there. Good to see Josh Hall up there walking under his own steam, which is very good. Some of the individual possession winners, Adrian Williams in his 100th game, he was magnificent today. 24 disposals, 12 marks, 4 inside 50s and 10 rebound 50s. Damien Stephen had 21 touches, 8 clearances to go with that. Hayden Batoli Simmons had 16 and Billy Johnson 15, and a whole host including Gannon, Cars, Franks and Malone with 14 apiece. And for the victors, it was Tyler Roos with 31 disposals, 8 marks, 2 clearances, 2 inside 50s and 4 rebound 50s. Mackenzie Willis had 21, including 9 marks and a clearance and a couple of inside 50s and rebound 50s. Josh Williams also had 21, including 5 marks and 2 clearances. And then Andrew Boston, he just sneaks up on you a little bit. 21 disposals, 5 clearances, 2 inside 50s. And Reece Clark and Michael Manteet had 19 apiece. So Southport, they'll be relieved coming away with a win, no doubt, Bob Batty. And Redland, they'll think about what could have been. And, I think the effort was there and the execution just failed them at the wrong times. It's as simple as that, but they can really take some heart out of today without doubt. Well, we might wrap it up there, Bob. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you hopefully next week for another game of NEAFL TV here. Thanks to our broadcast partner. I'll get this right. On NEAFL TV, thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. It was good to have you along this afternoon.
Thanks, Kanga. Great to be here. It was a good game.
And on behalf of myself, Bob, on behalf of myself, Mark Kennedy, and Bob Batty, I'm tongue-tied. I'm tired. I've had enough. We're going to sign off for this afternoon. We'll see you again next week on NEAFL TV.